page 5 of the Vanguard. 2023, Buhari deceiving Jonathan. Others. Adebanjo.
Somehow, Sheriff, I don't believe that President Jonathan intends to run, in this election that we are in.
Yeah.
And that even if he does so, I'll be amazed if he does it under the APC. A part. The B part is I'll be completely surprised if the APC is ready to field the same man you condemned so much. Okay, so much 8 years ago. If you what is it that you are going to tell us? You see, this is what I think happens in political circles. If it is conceived that you have a lot of money to spend, especially in these hard times, politicians tend to gravitate, towards you. And if you are malleable, they sell you a dummy, you pick it up and they drain you all the way down. You can see one or two evident cases where it is apparent that these persons are not going anywhere, but you can see politicians saying he's the only one who can do it, and so on and so forth, and they drain them. At the last minute, they are ditched. The president, the way I look at him, and by normal thinking, will have a favored candidate. You can't take that away from him. If I were in this place, I would have. If you were in this place, you would have. And I don't think that favored candidate, of course, would be Jonathan. So how Jonathan himself will be convinced that those who are propping him mean well, he might just, if he falls for it, if Jonathan falls for it, he will get surprised at the convention. By that time, the money that they think that he has, don't forget that Nigerians have a sense of entitlement. They can always calculate how much you have. You leave your place in Ibadan. Let me go and meet Jimi Disu in Lagos. Maybe he knows this one, he knows that one. At least Marile Iqbal away, that kind of a thing. They would have drained him down. The second thing also is this has diverted Jonathan's attention from being useful to the PDP. Remember, this rabbit has been thrown at him for quite a while. Otherwise, it's possible that he would have been a strong factor in the PDP. Maybe not necessarily to come back, but Jonathan has gained sympathy over time. I hope it is not another Fanika Ode tactics that we are looking at, because Fanika Ode now is out in the cold. After dragging him into the APC, he's now running around trying to be spokesperson for a candidate that we are almost sure might not, get the ticket. So I don't know the game that is going on. But it is also a reflection of our level of thinking. It is not deep enough. I mean, Jonathan escaped so many things by what I would call a hair's breadth. And I would have thought that for somebody who really didn't aspire to anything, apparently, if you hear the story of how he became deputy governor and he moved on and on and on, became president, he should have been more than happy to retire to the academic world from where he came. And you've been lucky. You run the country actually for about 6 years. Am I right? For about 6 years.
That's right. 6 years, yeah.
6 years he ran the country. It doesn't get better than that. And of course, so I think that I'm just hoping that somebody is just playing games here and in reality, but his own response to some so-called people who came to prompt him. All these games. I don't know why we keep repeating this game of some people came to prompt me. Nobody gets up from his house to go and prompt you unless there's something. But let's leave that aside. Let's argue on that. He said that you will soon know what I am. And I'm saying to myself, I wish he had just made a categorical statement to say, what more does Nigeria want from me? Jonathan has been one of the luckiest Nigerians born ever in public life. He's been the luckiest. The luckiest. Became deputy governor by default, became governor by default, became vice president. In the convention that produced Yaradua, if the governors hadn't insisted that one of them should be president, he wouldn't have gotten to him. And he wasn't the first choice. The first choice we hear was our good friend Duke, who it was said, I don't know, that the person who was told to go and offer him didn't offer him. He just treated him as a suggestion and he said, no, I don't think I can work with this gentleman. And then Jonathan came into the picture. You can see God's work in the making. In life, you must always know when your expiry date has come. That is what I've also said repeatedly, even though people misread it, about even one or two contenders in the race today. There is always an expiry date. There is always a point that you must get to that you put your hands up. If you don't put your hands up yourself, God will put them up for you. My advice to Jonathan is don't let these people push you. Don't let anybody push you. You've spent your 6 years. You've had the good, the bad, and the ugly. You're still young enough to give a lot back to Nigeria. You're respected all over the world. But remember that respect that you have is for one singular act. And it is very significant. And that's that you handed over, at a time when you could have put up resistance to save your country. It is best to let sleeping dogs lie.
You said something that you shouldn't let people push him. What if he desires it? What if he wants it?
That makes it worse. That makes it worse. But from the Jonathan that we saw who considered victory very quickly was already tired. We could read his body language.
He's well rested now.
Well...